That was really stupid. Oh my god. Okay, this video is about why entertainment companies, mainly focusing on video games and movies, decided why they need to remake movies or video games. Um, I was mainly going to focus on Black Ops 4, and then after discussing, obviously, that's a bit of a narrow subject, and it's kind of hard just to pinpoint why, especially for a game that's not even out yet. They're deciding to remaster another game to release with it. So I broadened that idea with why do movies and video games do this thing to where they bring back something that was someone loved. Like obviously, for Black Ops 4, they're talking about remaking Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and which would be awesome, but it's why are they doing that? Like, why would they do that? And for Call of Duty's sake, as of right now, it's because they don't think they're going to get the money, and so they make something that they know people are going to want because they don't think that this new idea is something that a lot of people will like. So what they do for this is they remaster a game that everyone loves. Everyone like really just loved this game. It was one of the best games that ever came out with Modern Warfare 2. And they are getting the chance to remake it so that they can get the sales that they need for this new game to actually keep going as a company. And it's awesome. Yes, I do love that game, Modern Warfare 2, but it's at the same time, it's like they shouldn't have to do that. If they wanted to go later and do that, like as just like some kind of special thing for people who are loyal to Call of Duty as a brand, it'd be awesome to see them kind of incorporate a new game in what people like instead of doing this future stuff. And that's what a lot of people are so worried about these new Call of Duty games is all the future stuff that has been brought into this game that a lot of people don't like, and then a lot of people do like, and so they keep making them, but they're toning it down, but they're trying to find a balance between the both, and right now it's kind of ruining Call of Duty. And so, like I said, some people like it, and some people don't, and then there's that fine line of in between where they're trying to nail, but it's hard to do for a video game. And now for movies' sakes, instead of sales, they kind of do it as to pay homage to movies like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle just came out, starring Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black, Nick Jonas, and then the really good-looking girl, but I don't know her name. I'm so sorry. But they kind of gave a little subtle hint to the original with Robin Williams, but they didn't completely remake this movie. It was a new version of the movie, but it was a continuation. It wasn't a remake and it wasn't a sequel, and that's what a lot of people like. So they did it for fun because they know people would enjoy it, and it ended up being really good. It's a box office success. And then there's like some movies that they're thinking about redoing completely, like The Goonies, and a lot of people kind of really stressed that they didn't want that to happen, and so it fell through. They're not even going to do that anymore. And me personally, I find that exciting because I would like to see a remake of it, but at the same time, like I'm also kind of against it too because the original is still such a good movie. It's like there's really no point to remake it, but they remake movies kind of like Predator and Alien. They kind of update them because graphics get better over time. And Star Wars, for example, Star Wars didn't have the best graphics back when they first came out, and so down the line when CGI and a lot of things got better, they went back into the old movies and updated them. Like Jabba the Hutt, he looked very blocky in the original one, and then in the new one, when they redid it, they made him a little bit more realistic. And then they also went back, and this is something some people don't like about it, was at the end of Star Wars, the last original Star Wars, when you see Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Darth Vader, or Anakin, they went back and put the new version of Anakin in instead of the old one. And it was cool because it was like, okay, it's updated because the other three, episode 1, 2, and 3 came out, but people didn't really like that because in the original, like Anakin didn't look like that in the original, and you don't know what he looked like after aging, so that's a big argument also. But most of the time they do it because in movies' sakes. They do it because they want to bring new life. They want to like update it, and they want to bring something new to the table, like Avatar. Avatar was a groundbreaking movie in CGI, but um, they haven't released any other ones, and the reasoning behind that was because they've been filming every single one. I think they're going to come out with 2, 3, and 4 within a period of starting next year, 2019, then 2020, and then 2021. The next 3 movies will come out simultaneously, and they've been waiting so long because they wanted the story to be perfect. They wanted the CGI to blow people away like the first one did, and so that's why they've been waiting so long. And it's going to be exciting to see what they bring forth to that. Okay, now going back to video games. Video game remakes and the remasters are killing this industry. What? Re-released and remastered games are hurting the games industry. Is it really being innovative if nothing new is being made? Now, that's a good point. I mean, like, why would you keep making the same thing over and over again? Yeah, it looks so much more good. I mean, it's like, wow, oh, I'm playing a game. It's like I'm playing a brand new game, but it's the same game. That's when you kind of gotta realize you gotta take a step back and like realize it's not a good thing for video games to be remastering video games. It's awesome, yes, because it's a game everyone loved, but it's what we loved. We're looking forward to that next thing that we love currently. We don't need to go backwards. We need to go forwards. So that's what this article is saying. Continuing this article, it says, remasters, remakes, definitive editions, HD collections, whatever you want to call them, they're more prevalent in the industry than ever. Games that have barely had a few years of life on the shelf are already receiving a glossy coat of paint with all the DLC thrown into the land of a few extra bucks. It might be good for the businesses, but it's certainly not good for the evolution of the game industry as a whole. You could even say that this practice is actually developing the world of video games to the eventual point of death. So, is remastering all these games that have already been made and just making them glossier better? Or is it just killing off the industry? It's like, because more and more people are like, oh, wow, this new game, or it's an old game, but it's all new and good looking, but it's like, okay, I've played it, I'm kind of bored. I mean, yeah, it looks nice, but it's like, but no other new games are getting made. So there's no point into doing this. So we kind of need to take a step back and from the remasters, even if the sales aren't going to be good, think about what people want and then continue on with something new and innovative. And when it comes to the new gaming experience, Xer games, which is kind of like, not necessarily VR, but it's like you're controlling the game, like Pokemon Go, for example. You're walking around. You have to walk around outside in real life to go find things, Pokemon, that are a part of this fake world and then your world, and then you have to go find them through this world, but walking around the real world. And Xer games kind of like to get yourself exercise instead of just sitting in front of a TV playing. And in this article, flow in Pokemon Go, the contribution of game level playing alone and nostalgia to the flow state. And this big article, you can read it if you want to, but long story short, it's basically saying like, yes, it's good to get exercise, but a lot of people play this because of the nostalgia of Pokemon. Everyone loves Pokemon, and a lot of people grew up on it. So to be able to walk around and be a Pokemon hunter or whatever you want to call it, it was like a new innovative way. But it also kind of goes into mental health and like if it just something you should play or should not play, and it's kind of like a win-lose situation, and it's really good in the idea of creating something new. So that's kind of how you have to find that balance where is it safe, which a lot of people have been hurt playing Pokemon Go, but it's a new way of people to play video games, and it's a really awesome idea. And finally, when it comes to movies, this article says why film studios really like movie remakes. And reading this, I was actually very enlightened on the fact that why this is done in movies. For example, Independence Day resurgence. The original one came out in 1996, Independence Day, and then they just recently made a sequel that was not really that good here. But in this article, it says Independence Day resurgence, for example, did $383 million in worldwide sales. More than 280 million of those sales came in foreign markets, 75 million of which came from China and another 6 million from Russia. The 1996 version of the film was not screened in those countries. So meaning, even though North America didn't quite like the remake, that the original wasn't even screened in those other countries, so they got to see it for the first time. They didn't even like really know what was going on, so they are seeing it in a different perspective of that we were. So they paid a lot more money to go see this movie that we kind of were not wanting. And another reason that they remake these movies, and that remakes, why they're so easy and why they do it, is because they're relatively cheap. Domestically, remakes are known as entities. They have inborn marketing advantages, and what's more, they are relatively cheap, analysis say. You don't have to pay a team of writers to start from scratch if you're working on yet another Spider-Man film, because Spider-Man's its own story. You don't have to recreate how he keeps getting his powers. Like, obviously he got bit by a spider and he got these powers. You don't have to remake that every time. Everyone knows the story, so basically you just get to add some more context, something he does. But other than that, he's still Spider-Man. So that's the kind of thinking behind why movies do remakes, because they're cheap and they're easier to make, and they either do good in North America or don't, but it doesn't matter because all these other countries that haven't seen this movie or just want to see an American film, they look forward to these movies, and so they pay more money. And then worldwide sales, that's what they look forward to now, not just North America sales, because that's why movies get remade nowadays, and it's a good marketing strategy towards them. So honestly, it's about money. And obviously they have to make money back from making these films, because they do still spend a lot of money to make these movies, but you have to think of how much money they are saving from doing a remake or a sequel. They don't have to reinvent or something. They don't have to pull you in if it's a sequel. You already know what you're about to expect going in there. Whether you like it or not is your opinion. But anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching.